attach our zipper to the main body. So we will be placing the zipper right side down, whereby your zipper pull should be to the left when it's closed. So it has to be to the left when it's closed. And we will be placing it approximately 3/8 of an inch from the one edge, and we clip it in place. And also it will be 3/8 of an inch from the other edge. And we're pushing it nicely down. Perfect. And now we can baste it in place using 1/8 inch seam allowance, using our zipper foot. And we backstitch again. Good. Now we have to attach our lining. So we take one piece of our lining and attaching it on the other side, making sure that all edges are lining up, and we're clipping it in place, just like that. Let's turn it around, and we will be stitching a 1/4 inch seam allowance using our zipper foot, beginning at the zipper tab and ending where the zipper just ends, leaving approximately 3/8 of an inch unsewn. Okay, let's start. Now once we come close to our zipper pull, we would have to push the zipper pull off to the side, so you're just pushing it away and finishing off our zipper here. And we will stitch only to the end of the zipper, just where the zipper ends, or the zipper teeth. Good. Now we can cut off the excess of that zipper tape so it's out of our way. Let's first snip off all the threads. Alrighty. And now we can cut off that zipper tape here. And we can seal it by just slightly using our lighter, sealing that raw edge. And here is the zipper. All we need to do now is turning it and top stitching it in place. And since we're using vinyl, we cannot iron it, so we just finger press it, and then we will be just top stitching it. And again, we will be only top stitching it from where the zipper ends and where the zipper tab ends. We don't want to top stitch the these pieces here. We want to leave that open. And here we're using a 3mm stitch length. And don't forget to backstitch at the begin and the end. And you can just press it nicely open so it lays nice and flat. And only to the end of that zipper tab. And backstitch. And snip off your threads. And we will have to do the same on the other side. So we will be lining up our main piece, our main vinyl, making sure that your vinyl piece, the edges here line nicely up. So the zipper tape is lining up with your raw edge on the top, and then also your main body lines up here on that edge as well. So let's put it in place here using our handy dandy clips. Make sure that you're turning that zipper teeth a little bit so it's in place. And we will be basting it in place using an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And again, only where the zipper tab begins and where the zipper teeth end. If you have to use your stiletto, just go ahead and do that. Just press the zipper teeth in so they stay in place. Backstitch. Snip off your threads. And now we're putting our lining the same way. We're aligning the lining sides together and the raw edge from the zipper tape with your lining. So everything needs to line up perfectly. It's a little tedious a little bit, but it's okay. Turning it around. Make sure that you open up your zipper. And you're stitching it again where your zipper teeth begin at a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And backstitch. And you can feel where your zipper teeth are, so you know exactly that you don't sew on top of them or over your zipper teeth. And once you get close to your zipper pull, just pull it up to the side. Make sure that you're lining up again. And again, only till the end of your zipper tab. And again, here we will be top stitching as we did before. But first, let's cut off the zipper tape here, that little piece. And use our lighter just to seal the edge here. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Now we just finger press it open here and finger press the other side open. Just like that. You can even place a clip here at the end and align it at the end. So when you're sewing, top stitching it, everything is just the right way. And again, we start top stitching where the zipper tab ends, and we're back stitching. I'm kind of pressing that open here so it's nice and flat. All the way to the end of that zipper. Good. And this is what you should have. Now we are going to finish our coin purse card holder. So we have the vinyl attached. We have the lining attached to the zipper. Now we have to open up the zipper, and we will align both vinyls right sides together, making sure that the zipper's aligning here, the zipper tape, and also our vinyl needs to align here as well, and we will clip that in place. Here we go. And we have our D-ring tab and our flap. So now we just have to attach it all the way around. Making sure that it aligns. And we do the same on the other side. We are aligning up our vinyl. Here we go. Perfect. And now we will be stitching just the vinyl in place, just keeping the lining outside, and we will be stitching all the way around these three sides and not including our lining. That gives us a nice end of the zipper here. So let's start doing that. And we will be stitching approximately 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And again, we will be back stitching. And just make sure that your flap is out of the way and your lining is out of the way. on the other side we do the same. And again, I use my zipper foot so I can get here as close as possible to the zipper at the end. And backstitch. Perfect. Now we're snipping off the threads. Now we will be doing the same on the other side using our lining. So we're clipping that in place, with the difference that we will have to leave an opening in the lining. So on the bottom, we will keep approximately 2.5 inch opening, and you can put a mark on it. I usually forget. So I don't have, oh, I have a chalk mark. So approximately here to here. I got a pen here. So here is my line and here is my other line. So I will not stitch in here. Okay, lining up everything here. Lining up these edges. And I'll be starting from the center, from the bottom, and will sew my way to the top because it's easier with your zipper foot to just do it this way rather than the other way. But you have too much bulk here and it's just not easy to get in there. So let's start from the center here. And here we are. And again, we're using a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, approximately. And here we're going to end up maybe with a 1/4 inch seam allowance at the where the zipper is. And again, we backstitch. This is the most tricky part here, but it's okay. You can use your stiletto just to keep everything in place. Push your vinyl out of the way. And backstitch. Cut off your threads. And we'll be doing the same on the other side, just turning it around. Great. And here's our mark. Again, 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Starting at the mark. Backstitch. I can go a little bit more here. And again, push your vinyl out. And use your stiletto to just hold it in place. It's a little fiddly. Perfect. Alrighty. We can cut down the lining just so slightly, maybe to 1/4 of an inch, just to reduce bulk, and cut in the corners. we will leave that seam allowance here where the opening is, so we will just kind of pivot out before the seam allowance and do the same thing on the other side, just so we can push it in nicely and it's easier. And again here, just taking that edge off as well on the other side. Just to reduce the bulk. Now comes the fun part. Let's go and turn it inside out. So we were just pushing one of the corners out through that opening, and then we just make our way through here. It should go fairly easy. Alrighty, almost there. Okay. Here it goes. Perfect. Now we just have to push out those edges. And we can use a precision tool. And I have that on the other side. And I would have to go and get it real quick. So just 1 second, please. Alrighty, this is my precision tool. This is really great. It has this little ball here, so it doesn't push through your lining or through your fabric, doesn't create any holes, and it's just a great tool. So let's push out these edges, these corners, I mean. And our zipper. Also on this side here. And all we have to do, just closing in our opening here. Once we poke out these corners here. And we will be just pulling. It lines up already nicely. You see? You can also press it. Oh, that's good so far. And we will be closing it using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And again, we will be back stitching in the begin and the end. Here we go. Perfect. Oh, we're almost there. Let's snip off all those threads. Well, if you don't have a lighter, you can also use these thread zipper and burn off your threads like that. It will seal it as well. Perfect. Now let's push the lining in. And all it's left to do is adding our cam snaps. Here it is. let's go and add our cam snaps to our pouch. Okay, so now all that's left is we need to now attach our cam snap. So let's fold the flap down in position, and let's take our little awl, and I think just so we can place it, just here would be a perfect place. So let's just poke your awl through just to create a small little hole. And we will be placing our male cam snap. So we have, I chose this kind of cute color here. And pushing it through that hole. And then we need our male, which is this one here. And putting on top. And then we need our cam snap press. And just press it in place. Here we go. And then we line it up where we need to put the female. And just right here. And we are making a hole here as well. Making sure that we don't go all the way through. And now we're attaching our female. So we take the cap from the inside and place it through that hole. There we go. Attach the female. And again, pressing it in place. Perfect, here it is. Oops. And all that's left is just that strap. And let's prepare that real quick. And for that, I already cut my strap into size as it is in the instructions. And first I will be marking the center of that strap so I can fold it in from both sides. And here we go. Then I'll be using some double-sided tape. And since I use just a small one, the 1/4 inch, I just place it on the outside of the raw edges on the length of that strap, and I attach it on both sides. Here we go. And now once I have to, okay, here we go. And now we're just turning it into the center to the line and attaching it. And we do that on both sides. Okay, one side is done. Now the other side. Here we go. And once we finish that, we are folding it another time in half. And just clipping it in place. Now we have to take our swivel hook and push the swivel hook through here before we clip the remaining part of that strap. So let's do that. Let's just squeeze that swivel hook through here and continue clipping it in place. Okay, perfect. Now we have to open up just the end of the sides, the raw edges here, and we have to line them up, right sides together. And then we will be stitching it just at 1/4 of an inch all the way on that short edge. And I placed, perfect, just 1/4 inch. Perfect. Snipping off your threads. And then we just have to open up the seams. And fold it back inside. We'll do that on the other side as well. And just snipping off these little tails. So we have don't have that bulk. Alrighty. And we clip that in place. And now we start stitching. We'll start stitching where that seam is, and we're starting stitching on one side, top stitching all the way around. And we will be doing the same on the other side. And we're using a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. Now we have to also push our swivel hook off to the side and just move it along. Okay. We're backstitching here. Cutting our threads. And we will be top stitching on the other side as well. Good. So here is our strap. Let's clean up here the threads. So now we just making sure that our threads are nicely tucked away, nothing is hanging out. So we're just going to push our swivel hook where that bulk is, where that seam is, and since it's so bulky, I don't want to necessarily put the seam in between because it's kind of opening up and I don't know, it doesn't look that great. So I'm going to push it just slightly to the side, just so slightly, and I'll be placing a rivet right underneath that seam, and it's going to be like an 8mm rivet. So let me punch a hole here, and it will be right in the center. Perfect. And then we push our rivet through. I think I might even use a 9mm. I think that's just a little bit too thick. No, it fits. Alrighty, let me go to my rivet press and press it in place. I'll be right back. Okay, perfect. So here is the rivet. Here's our strap, our wristband. And now we can just attach it to our small coin pouch and card holder, and we're finished. And we can put our cards in here. It holds more than one card, and you can put your coins, money, even additional cards. It's big enough for other cards. So here it is. Alrighty, thank you for joining me in today's tutorial, and here is our finished product. Here is our adorable coin purse and card holder. It has the 2 card slots, just like here, and it has a center flap with the cam snap. You have your zipper for all your coins and other money, paper money, as well as it fits additional cards. And of course your wristless strap. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial and hope to see you soon. Happy sewing. Bye.